Welcome back to another episode of the Zero Empty Spaces podcast, episode 76, with Gulfstream Park resident artist Christian Charles here from his beautiful space in Hollandale Beach, Florida. If you didn't know about Zero Empty Spaces, myself, Evan Snow, and my business partner, Mr. Andrew Martineau, started an initiative to activate vacant commercial real estate spaces so talented artists like him can have space to create and collaborate affordably outside their homes. It's led to a myriad of win-win-win benefits with the first 33 spaces we've activated over the last 6 years across 4 states, with over 800 artists having come through the program so far. But the point of the podcast is to connect you with the talented artists like him that make the program what it is. So without much further ado, could you tell us just a little bit of how you initially got started in the arts?
Yeah, well, I got started when I was about six years old. Just making starting out with the regular 6-year-old stuff that they were interested in, doing like Dragon Ball drawings, sketching them out. I think the first one I really realized I did like a sketch of like Goku when he was a Super Saiyan.
Nice.
And I thought that was really good. So I thought maybe I could be an artist. So I continued that for as long as it did. I kind of like dabbled into graffiti a little bit, moved into like kind of pop art type of stuff. Then by like high school time, I took it a little bit more serious. I took some AP classes.
Okay.
For that, I actually missed the AP test for I think for AP painting. So that was a big mess up, but came out all right. I applied for New World School of the Arts then. Got it on my first try. Thankful for that.
Nice.
Then after that, continued with New World for about 5 years, and then graduated in 2024.
Congrats.
And now I'm here in Zero Empty Spaces, just continuing the passion that I've had since 6 years old.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see it come and to get to this stage of your career, and we're excited to see where your career comes from here. How was that experience? And for maybe those that are not familiar with New World, if you could just give a little context, but how did that experience kind of help you shape your artistic voice and kind of the stories that you want to tell through your work?
I would say it was interesting. I would say for me, I didn't really get my inspiration or passion as like a direct inspiration from New World. I kind of got that inspiration a kind of little bit at the end of like my senior year, my 5th year there, where I kind of got this realization that I got to take this more serious. Then I started realizing the world around me, and the things that inspired me even before coming into New World. So I'd say for New World, New World is still a great place. A lot of great students there, a lot of great teachers that really helped me on the way. But I would say the realization of like who I am as a person, or like who I've been like before New World, or like outside of New World, that really made me realize the passion that I had for art. But I will say New World is the catalyst for me to realize that. So I have to give credit for that.
Amen. And great opportunity. I'm glad you were fortunate enough to be accepted for a shot. One of the top art schools, around.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Produced, endless, artists.
Oh yeah.
So kudos to you. Now, with regards to your current work, for those that are now maybe just discovering and seeing your work for the first time, how do you describe your current style and the mediums and context in which you're working in right now?
And I would say I would describe my art kind of as like a funk art. Funk, yeah, that's the way I describe it.
Okay.
As of right now, I've been really inspired with like the late 20th century, like just the era of that, of like the 60s up to like the 2000s, of like the civil rights era, like how that affected like music, how that affected like culinary gastronomy in a sense, because I've just been like absorbing like all type of art forms. But I would say like I would call it funk art, because that's the spirit it really comes from for me. I've been like absorbed in like the funk people like James Brown, Sly Stone, all those people. Actually, when I heard Sly Stone died, I actually grew these sideburns out as a memory for him. So there's that. But yeah, I call it funk art just because it's the spirit of funk, that deep soul that's in like the black culture. So
Amen.
that's
And it
that's it
does
for
shine
me.
through. Are there any, aside from the culinary and other medium artists, visual artists and painters that have been influential and inspirational for you in developing this style?
Jacob Lawrence.
Okay.
I would say Jacob Lawrence and his use of his under his subtle use of like composition, the way he uses colors, because for his works I kind of did kind of like master copies and like dissecting on how he used his composition and works. He uses a lot of zigzags and stuff like that people wouldn't even notice, like how he would design like the person's leg in a sense, or like how he'll use like the smoke. He used the smoke of a cigarette as the zigzag to continue that pattern. It's just like those subtleties that's like the real big thing that I've been harping on in my works, and just like those subtle compositions. That's really what I've been interested in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's certainly a good one. I mean, and people see many different things, and thankfully, you have a very interesting array of
Yeah.
works, different color palettes, different color schemes. But your paintings draw from both some romanticism and surrealism, blending the mundane and the fantastical. What attracts you to that balance, and how do you approach creating worlds that feel both real and also dreamlike?
Because I would say, because when you paint, I would say, well, at least for me, when I paint kind of representational, like I usually do like in a landscape sense. When I paint representational sense, I kind of honor the world too much, and I just try to be as perfect as the world is, and that's ultimately impossible for me to do. So I then realized, like, one from my teachers from New World, he gave me the advice that don't he it was actually a quote from Picasso that my teacher from New World told me. Picasso said, if I paint a horse, you won't see the horse, but you'll definitely feel it. So that was in the sense of like, don't paint exactly what you see, but paint the emotion of what it is. So that's kind of where the surrealism and the fantastic kind of comes in to my works, with like the realism of like the landscape, and then like the fan surrealist elements of like painting things that I see. So I'll say, like, for this one right here, there was moments where I didn't even know where the leaves were, so they just got lost in like whatever it is. So that's kind of like the emotion, like surrealist feelings that I was trying to go right there. Well, I let some of the leaves not even be painted in a sense, and then just leave others that really stood out to me more in the forefront.
Now I'm
Yeah.
looking at the leaves at a whole different context. Very interesting. You've mentioned also previously being inspired by the Divine Comedy and Midsommar. How do literature and film feed into your creative process, and what's your way of translating those narratives into painting?
It's I always believe that art, no matter the medium, is always the same. So I kind of, during that time of during that time in New World, I was actually kind of interested in like horror in a sense. So yeah, I was like in like a kick of horror. So I was watching like Midsommar, like Ari Aster, the director of Midsommar, and like Hereditary, and I was looking at his works of like how he constructed horror in a sense of like he was so detail oriented and more focused on like each each scene, each frame had like its own emotion and carried its own weight. The same thing with like the Divine Comedy with each layer of like hell, each having its own distinct heavy weight. And I kind of translated those literature and film elements into like landscaping in a sense where like when you paint a landscape, you have to focus on everything. So like each tree you make, each blade of grass you make, that's its own scene, kind of like in a sense
Right.
of like the sense of a film. So each like moment is like a scene in a film that you could just like attract yourself to. So those I kind of like relate those as like giving the gravity of the work.
Well done. And I mean, I've known other noteworthy artists take inspiration from different mediums of art. Basquiat would be listening and watching and reading and taking all these different things, and just even like the different hues or the different color tones or the different aesthetics of which that they're framing the scene. Right. Now the picture is starting to come together. Especially in some of these works that might be considered darker, but they're not. They're not negatively dark. I mean, you're right. You're painting a realistic, what you see in the world. Could you maybe? I know this one you recently posted, and they could see.
Yeah.
Could you maybe give us a narrative and a story regarding one of these works, any one of them? For those that could see them on the screen here.
Actually, it's interesting that you said the word dark, because these three paintings I painted them up with a black gesso first.
Okay.
Yeah, so instead of like using like a white canvas, painted the gesso black because I wanted that dark element. See how that reflects. And let's say about this one right here. This one, I was inspired by a song called "Lonely Night" by McGee. I'm not sure if you know that. The song's about like a woman who tries to be seen in the world, but the world doesn't see her. So all the efforts that she does is kind of like in vain, and it's not really noticed. So I kind of went off like the theme of like the song, or like the melodies of it. It was kind of like a somber tone, kind of like a reflective, retrospective type of mood of the song, especially with like it's like heavy on the guitar. So in the way that McGee plays the guitar, he kind of like reflects like the emotion in the guitar. So when I heard that song, this was kind of like the scene that I saw in it. So I just kind of like recreated like kind of like the shadows, the depth, and kind of like the lonely feeling of it. That's also why I kind of made it kind of like a jungle type of thing, and like kind of like devoid of like any real like animal life. So it's just like a lonely fight. That's not the name of this one, but that I would say that would probably be like a secondary name that I'll give this.
Did you share that finished piece or that story with McGee?
Well, I tagged him on the piece, but he's a pretty big artist, so I'm not even sure.
Sorry, it went to the request folder or something. Maybe we'll take a clip from the podcast. We'll post it and tell, maybe say, hey, you caused some inspiration. Look at this work here. But that's and it's interesting, right? That it's a nature scene, but there aren't animals or the wildlife. But it very well seems like something could just pop out at any moment. No, very interesting. How about in terms of the interesting that you mentioned you started with the black gesso. What type of materials, mediums are you working in for those, that are just seeing, I guess, kind of the finished pieces? I see there's some sketches, some outlines.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about, your process in creating these works.
I would say I'm a big fan of using acrylic in the sense of like how easy it is to layer on top of each other and keeping like the underneath layer kind of like in it, keeping the secondary layer, the layers underneath, like keeping its own personality in there. So that's kind of like an inspiration that I had on like painting like the leaves on here and stuff like that. I try to like explore like different colors and stuff like that, and like each color, each leaf having its own personality to exist, and leaving those acrylic layers to build on top. That's been real fun for me. I've also been like experimenting with like different type of like mediums too, like acrylic mediums, like gloss gesso, not gloss gesso, gloss medium, matte medium. Seeing how those contrast with themselves on top of each other. So in some places, I'll add like a matte medium and put it right next to a gloss medium, so it can have that in-person effect. That's kind of actually what I did with this one right here, with like the water right here.
Mm-hmm.
The black gesso is pretty matte, but then for the water itself, I actually put a gloss gesso to help with that reflect. So it's just been like working in a way of like exploring different type of ways to push the acrylic further.
What brand acrylic are you using?
I'm a big fan of Liquitex. Liquitex,
Okay.
like the professional brand.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll use the basic for like if I'm using like a titanium white or stuff like that. But usually I'll go for like the professional side because it has a more richer texture. You could use like less, and then you could just like spread a little bit more evenly.
Okay, Liquitex, if you're listening, we're open to sponsorship, and
Please,
if you want
please.
go through a lot of that stuff. You recently created a mural with the Miami Parking Authority. How did it feel bringing your vision out of the studio and into a public space that connects directly with the community?
It felt nice. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like what's the name? Michelangelo, like the Sistine Chapel, of like creating a meal for everybody to see. But the whole process of it was great. I was with like a whole group over at New World. We had like a mural like whole class, so it was like a whole semester for that. We worked as like a team of I think like 18.
Wow.
A lot of chefs in the kitchen for that one, but I think what do you think about it? I think we got on like right at the nick of time, like right before the deadline. But the whole thing was great. It was my first time painting a mural. After that, we had like a whole like celebration for it. Like Seven News was there to capture it. I was actually on like the cover of like the magazine that they kind of like posted on there too.
Nice.
So it was a really great experience.
Where's this located?
It's located in downtown Miami, I think on Third Street. The building, the Miami Parking Authority building on Third Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're down Miami Art Week, Art Basel, looking for a place to park, or definitely look out for it. Try to tag it in the show notes here. Now you are very humble, well-spoken, down to earth for how far you've come in this short period of your career, which we're very honored and glad to have you here in Zero Empty Spaces. And you've already exhibited in spaces like Frederic Snitzer Gallery and Locust Projects, which are highly esteemed opportunities. What have those experiences taught you about sharing your work at that level and navigating the art world early on in your career, as you still are?
I would say for me, it made me realize that the experience of sharing the art kind of like is the same for like at every level. Because for me, I really just appreciate just like showing the art out to people, and letting people see what it is and they experiencing it for themselves. And I realized that going to like the Frederic Snitzer and Locust projects, that experience of like sharing is kind of like universal wherever you do it. So yeah, it was a nice experience. I really do appreciate like the opportunities that I got to be there, and everything that came with it. A lot of faces that can recognize me now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Great way to start your CV off, and
yeah,
great way to really start building some cachet as you're eventually going to be working with more galleries. It just it's evident and obvious to us, which is why one of the reasons why we're glad obviously to have you here in Zero Empty
yeah.
Spaces, to help give you the space and the opportunity to support you in pursuit of your passion, your profession, your career, your future, which is very bright, and we're very excited for and glad to support you with. In closing here, looking ahead, what kind of impact do you hope that your art will make on your audience, on your community, or even on the broader conversation around creativity here in Miami and South Florida?
I would say what I want to do is like inspire change. I all the works that I do that I've been doing like for the past 2 3 years now has been like in a place of inspiring other people, of like pushing themselves on how much further the art can go. Said recently, I've been like really inspired of like other like mediums, like really like the late 20th century era of like even music, like I said. And like I really appreciate that time of like everything was just like changing, like every 5 years the music was changing every 5 years, and I kind of like that moment. So I want to push that feeling a little bit more further, because I feel right now we're kind of in a space of like equilibrium, in a sense, where everything is in a sense moving in slow motion. I think like innovation kind of like slowed down a little bit for our time. I think right now what I've been inspired in it is change, and like making the art world a little bit more interesting, because this is going to be a controversial take, because I feel like the art world is underappreciated right now. I feel like I feel like the art world has like a lot of stuff that has got going on, and I just want to be one of those people that people look at and like he's the one that's inspiring change. He's the one that's pushing the art world into a greater level that it could be at. So that's what I'm going for my art.
Amen. And I see that for you. And I know we were discussing before potentially getting into teaching and maybe giving back and inspiring the next wave and generation directly hands-on. So I'm confident you'll do that, and not only through your work and through your calling, through your social media, and through your voice and through the platform you've created. You are doing that. So kudos to you, and I appreciate you even having the consideration and the vision and the care to even offer it, to want to help inspire change. Not everybody even thinks like that. So kudos to you there. If they would like to stay connected with you, follow your work, where can they find you on social media and the interwebs?
Well, you can find me on Christian Charles _art on Instagram. I post all my works there. I do weekly stories and everything that you can want to talk to me about, I'm right there. My email is christiancharles0701 if you want to email me about some business inquiries. I'm all ears, and that's open for everybody.
Commissions, exhibitions,
Yeah, commissions, exhibitions, all of that.
residency, artist talk,
Everything,
all the things. All right.
everything.
Last question we like to wrap up with here on the podcast. What do you like the most about having a studio to create in outside of your home?
Isolation for myself. I feel like when I'm here, it's just me. I can really like focus on like reflections of who I am as a person and reflect that easily into the art. I don't have no outside interactions because my home is a pretty loud place. So having that space to just zero in on me and my work, I realized it kind of shows in the work too. It kind of reflects that difference in location.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's been a real helpful thing for me.
Okay, well, we're glad to be able to provide that for you. I'm also grateful. So we're here at our Zero Empty Spaces number 11 location in Gulfstream Park in Hollandale. Pretty big space, 6,000 square feet, 19 studios. There's only 5 private studios with doors, and you fortunately were lucky enough to get one of them. So you really do have that isolation from the ongoing life, even from, people walking in and stuff like that. And you've already put it to good use. You're putting out a lot of work in the short period of time, a few months that you've been here, which we're grateful to support you. So we certainly encourage you to schedule a studio visit to come by and check out Christian. You're normally here, you mentioned the other day, on Sundays, or when are you generally in the studio?
I'm usually here on the studios Sundays and Mondays, 12 through 5. Mondays and Tuesdays, about 2 to 7.
Okay, so yeah, reach out. We'll schedule a studio visit. Appreciate you taking the time. Ones to watch, highly recommend. Today's prices might not be there tomorrow, so buy them now. And we appreciate you joining the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.